Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, everybody? Getting everything together. How's everybody doing today? Turn that noise gate. Hey, awesome. Let's see here. Coke's here. Don't forget to like the video, fellers. Come on in. The water's fine. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, definitely like the video. That's going to help out. We're just going to keep doing these and just having some fun. Kevin's here. Was it your New Year's resolution to be first in every live stream in 2022? Yeah, there haven't been many up till 2 weeks ago. So things have amped up to try and get in first. David's here. Hi, David. How you doing? Kevin. Dean is here. Coke. Hi, guys. No, I'm just always early for everything. Me too. Not always. Not today. I was late for this one. Dave says, don't know what I'm going to do on my drive to work when these dailies podcasts stop. That's a question I'm going to pose to you. I'm on the fence on something here. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. Evan's here. Hey. What's up? Hey. And Evan again on Twitch. He's on both now. Yeah, I really got to get over the Twitch and figure out what's going on over there. Trippy. Yeah. You know what that is? I'll tell you. That was... Let me turn all this stuff off here and just get a... clean tone. My recital in my senior year, your junior and senior year in music school, you had to do a recital. And usually what people do is they do a bunch of jazz tunes and that'll be it. You know, they just play a bunch of covers. I was one of the first people at the school to do an all MIDI performance. So it was live guitar, but I wrote the music and had it all on MIDI and had someone who was actually pushing the computer buttons for me on stage. And this was one of the songs. It was kind of a fusion type thing. It's kind of... had a melody to it, had a whole bunch of stuff. And I don't know, I was just sitting, I got down here about 10 minutes before we started and turned the old Spark on and just couldn't find anything I liked. And I came across a David Gilmour patch that was using a deluxe reverb. And I just messed with the delay and I added the microvibe, the univibe pedal that they had there. Although you can't do it beforehand. It sounds better if you put it beforehand. You can't do that with this. But yeah, that's just an old song that I came up with a long time ago. Just came out. Haven't played it in about that long. So let's see here. Coke says, Kevin, I should make next year's New Year's resolution to relax and be late for things. Okay. Yeah, me too. He says, that sounds great. Kevin's trying to make all the platforms all effective. Yes. So everybody give everybody give Evan a round of applause. We had Discord open up today. It was, I went in there. I put my bull in the China shop GIF in there and, participated I had a couple minutes to do that. We were hanging out in the podcast discussion section, talking about the things going on and a bunch of other things too. It was fun. We'll be doing a lot more of that. The topic for today's scale theory, we can talk about that in a little bit if you like. Kevin said, I like it. Okay, cool. Thank you, man. Thanks. Let's see here. Peter. Hey, Peter. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Winter storm happening, so looking forward to playing guitar later. Yes. Where are you, Peter? What general area of the country are you at? There's David giving some applause. And David signed up for Discord too. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I learned a little bit about Discord today, so I could just get in and at least say hi. So I did that. It's cool. It's very cool. Haven't done the video chat and all those things. Well, maybe we'll do that this weekend sometime. So let's talk about the podcast, a daily podcast. I spoke to Evan about this yesterday, and it's going pretty well. The daily thing, it's going well. The daily audio podcast. So yesterday I kind of had I hit the wall last night trying to get everything done. I slept in today, so that's why I'm smiling today and not like yesterday. But I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about continuing after this. How I did it the first week. So here's what happened. The first week I did them all in advance. The first 7. I did them all on the weekend before. And then my idea was to the next weekend do the next 7. And of course, with all this everything going on, the weekend was filled. I didn't even get to coaching till the Friday coaching. I didn't even get it till Saturday at dinner. So I couldn't get it done. So then this week I'm doing everything last minute, which pushed me. I hit the wall yesterday, just getting that out. So I'll be going for today. Today I'll be recording up till Sunday, and I'm hoping that I can get into a habit of being able to record the whole week's worth over the weekend, and maybe even recording ahead of time to keep this going on if people are interested in the daily podcast. And so far, it overwhelmingly by downloads, it's been nice. I've already had more downloads this month on the 13th than I had the whole month of like February. So what we got here. I think that was clapping or washing hands. Yeah. Coke says today it's going to be over 70. Finally, a warm day. You deserve it. Your part of the country has been having a hard time. 70 in Milwaukee, right? David says 88 in Tampa, and if it's 88 where David is, it's going to be 88 where I am. I'm just not going outside. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay in here with you guys. Maybe do some Discord a little bit later. Record some podcasts. Stay in my nice blue room. Work on my studio tan. Already my face is the sunburn has gone. The hat burn right here, the little moon hat burn is on the way out from our Universal Studios excursion that we had last week. So maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get out and try it again. I think I think Thursday I may be going somewhere. I don't know. So Peter is in southern Manitoba in Canada. Okay, so and let's see, what was the temperature? You said winter storms happening. So looking forward to playing guitar later. Yeah. I grew up in like Delaware, right? Which was it was basically a suburb of Philadelphia. I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and we would have 2-3 years, and it wasn't too bad, and then every once in a while we would have the just get snow after snow after snow. And my wife and I moved up there, and my daughter moved up there to be near the grandparents for a few years, and didn't last very long. My wife's from Georgia, and that first year it snowed like 15 times just right after another. So it was just white everywhere, and then it melted and it snowed. The day it melted, it snowed, and it just lasted for months and months and months. So I feel for you, man. I'm kind of done with that. I'd rather my problems be warm weather problems than cold weather problems, but we'll see if that works out for me or not. I don't know. Kevin says it's 44 in western Wisconsin and getting colder, 20s tonight and snow. Goodness gracious. Evan says, I love the dailies, but only if it doesn't kill you. Yeah. Well, I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of updates. I got a lot of courses that I'm halfway done with, that I want to get all of those things done. And I want to keep I like doing a daily stuff. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I just have to be able to get everything done in advance, and keep a schedule. And that's the tough thing, especially when you work at home. You guys know, most of us have at least worked at home for a bit. Some of us are back to work, but it's tough, man. A lot of stuff needs your immediate attention when you're home, so let's see. It says that's crazy. He says, for reference, he's like an hour drive or something for me, and the weather's that different. Yeah, that is crazy. 60 in Maine today. Yeah, that makes sense to me. 60 in Maine and in April, halfway through April. That makes sense. That makes sense here. And let's see here. We have lower 80s in Noel. Let me see. Let's see what we've got here. We'll do the weather right now. We'll do it all at once. What's the weather near you? Go. Right. And then 83 right now here. So it looked nice. I won't be able to. Coke's there. I said, oh, this is much better. Switch to Twitch too. Cool. Cool. Yeah. I need to get into Twitch and get it really set up. I really spent 15 minutes putting images up and signing in, and then that's all I did. So I really need to. A couple times I went there and to see to look make sure that the older live streams were there, and I couldn't find them. So, but maybe that's just me. But we'll be getting into Twitch more too. Right now we are on 3 different streams into Facebook for the group, my personal page, and for the business page. We are at YouTube, and we are at Twitch, and we are streaming for Twitter too. Twitter is also new. We get a few at Twitter, but we'll build that over time. I'm going to have to find someone to help me with social media, the way things are going. I was hoping I could do everything, and that I can't even think about that. So you have any ideas of anybody interested in helping out this poor soul with social media, let me know. Okay, so let's see here. Kevin says, I want to move somewhere warm. Well, you could come here. It's warm. But there's a lot of people coming here too. It's tough to get here now. It's a lot tougher than it was we just had, before any of this junk happened, we had come here, and it was actually, I remember we had come here to look for houses, and it's right when the thing hit, and so I remember we were in the Hampton Inn, and just heard about it, and we were kind of looking around to see if anybody was coughing or sneezing. So right when it first started happening, so we got in just beforehand, but. You can get new construction here all the time. It's the, just a regular purchase of an existing home. It's quite an interesting thing. For those in the business, Evan, it's borderline legal what some of the people are doing here. I don't even know it's borderline. So. Coke says, I'll give you your channel a shout out in my channel tonight. Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'd love to get more into Twitch. I love Twitch. I go on a lot and watch people. I always wanted to participate. So thought this would be a way I could do it. I don't know if this is the coolest way to do Twitch, but it's what I got. So, so let's see here. I appreciate that. And also, I've got some folks for some coaching stuff. The new coaching is going to be like a monthly type thing. It's going to be, like a Zoom call type thing, but with other things throughout the month. Let me talking about that next week a little bit. Let's see here. Evan says, I think there's a way to set a bot in the server to notify when Twitch goes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get your help. I'm into getting help now. Yeah, if you noticed, since 2018, I've tried to do everything myself, and not ask for too much help. But I'm at to the point now where, if anyone has any way they'd like to contribute, I'm down for it, man. I could use all the help I could get right now because I'm really trying. I'm pushing this boulder, trying to get this thing moving. And it's working. It's slow, but it's working. David says, come on down to Florida, Kevin. It's plenty warm. Yeah, come on down, man. I want to get David to come over here and we can go hang out a little bit. I need to meet you at the Guitar Center. I thought that would be fun. I just can't find the time to do it. Coke says, could just wait a few years and it'll be warm in Wisconsin. Yeah. Maybe a little shack in Costa Rica. That would be nice. Very nice. He says there's a ton of new construction in Florida. Yeah, there is. I can hear it right now. It's right over there. Right there. And prices have really jumped. Yes. The prices for this house jumped before we were actually in the house. So we purchased the house, we went home, all this stuff started happening. We were waiting for the house to be built, and we would go onto the builder's website, and weekly it would increase. So I haven't checked in a while, but Evan says, I just checked. Can I have the notifications? I can have the notifications on my tomorrow. Hey man, you're awesome. You're the best. You are the best, man. Coach says our meeting won't be one-sidedly. I plan on sharing some information. Thank you, man. That'd be cool. Yeah, I've got. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. I remember. I got you set up for that meeting. I think we'll do them next week. I think I'm going to. How it's going to happen is Calendly is what I'm going to be using for scheduling stuff, and next week is This week is the Discord. We're kind of talking about Discord this week. Next week is going to be talking about coaching, and then the final week is going to be something else. So the surprises I missed a day of surprises the other day, but at least we've got things for the week. And then I need to talk to Dean about some stuff too. So there's a lot of good things coming for the next. I need to get a video in, or should I wait for the monthly coaching change? Any way that you want to do it, man, you just let me know. I'm not forcing anybody out of if they like doing it the other way for a while, but if you've noticed, I haven't brought any new coaching students in a long time, because it's just the video sharing thing is it takes a ton of time. So I'm going to be switching over to this, all new coaching. We're going to come into this, and then people who love the other way, I'll have something that might work for them too, or not. I have some ideas for that. So next week, we'll get into that next week. Okay, so that's some fun stuff. We did a little guitar playing. We're talking about the getting everybody to move down here so we can all hang out. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to do. Talking about coaching a little bit. We talked about Discord. And so now let's talk about scale theory. Okay. So here's the 3 sections that were in the audio podcast today. Why you should care about scale theory, the DNA of music, and chords and harmony. How scale theory leads to chords and harmony. And the question was, does the relationship between scales and chords make sense to you? How would you describe their relationship? So scale theory, how a scale is built. And when you have someone new to the guitar, what's the first thing that you gravitated towards when you first started playing guitar? I'm going to ask that question right now before I get into this. When you first grabbed the guitar, what was the first thing you started working on? And I'm not talking about, like I talked about today, just, getting kind of nonsense sounds. When you first started really working on guitar, what was the first things you worked on? Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so Evan says, first he said, they make sense academically, but not on the fly. I'm working on that. Okay. He said the first thing that he started working on was chords. Chords, right? So Evan says chords, Kevin says chords, Dean says chords, Facebook user, hi Facebook user, says chords, right? Chords, everybody. And so we have this idea in our head that it's all based on chords. Chords are the foundation of the guitar. And to understand this thing, we need to really understand our chords. We need to learn more chords. We need to learn more shapes, because shapes equals chords. And that is not how the guitar's set up or music is set up. Okay, chords come second. The scale is what the chords are built from. And how easy would that be in a beginner situation, right? Is to do a basic C major scale and then your first chord, maybe a C chord, right? So everybody knows the do re mi fa sol thing, right? So everybody knows that. And guess what? Okay, how easy would it be to say, well, let's take each every other note and play them together, right? At that point, it's very important how you start on something. A lot of the problems that I fix from people is this chord being the bottom line to everything, and they're not. Chords come second. If you understand the scale, then the chords come, and then right there, as a beginner, you would understand in a second. Oh, there's the relationship there. I learned the scale, and from that scale, I build the chords, and you start building off of that in the beginning. What a wonderful way that would be to learn, right? To have that thing that's going to hold you back for years addressed in 15 seconds at the very beginning. Think about that, right? I think about these things. I'm weird. I don't know why I think about these things. I just do. Let's see here. Coke says, I wanted to sound like a song anyway at all. And that's why I think it happens. Because to people who want to teach you or want to sell you a book or want you to click on something, they want to give you what you want as soon as possible, right? And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. But they want you to get that so you're happy. They want you happy at first. And then they give you the bad news, Well, you've done this, but there's what's behind door number 3 over here, So how could you do that in a way where you open up scales, you show how chords are created from scales, but you still give them something to have fun with in the beginning. That's the trick right there. David says, first fun thing before I found your show was the one finger riff. Yeah, and those are fun too. Yeah, especially for hard rock people, there's all sorts of different riffs that you can do. Coke says it was Green Day, so it was a power chord. But okay, so yeah. And Evan says that might have made sense actually. Yeah. And Dean says, I wish I had learned that in the beginning. Right. Coke says, here's my biggest aha lately. If I'm making it an improvised song, if I want an interesting bass line, I must start with the bass line. Yeah. In any song, there's a featured part. In any song. We were listening to Hall & Oates yesterday. I'm a closet Hall & Oates fan, right? And we were listening to I forget what song it was. And we were listening in my wife's car, and she always has the low cranked. She's got like a, I don't know, subwoofer or something in her car, the low crank, so you can really hear the bass. And most of those songs, if you talk about, you think, well, Daryl Hall's singing it, right? But it's not guitar heavy songs, and it's not keyboard, it's all those things are together. But what's the instrument that sticks out the most? Bump, 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 bump. The Hall & Oates, that band, you never think about it, is a bass player driven band. That's the featured instrument in any thing. But, when the vocals come in, the vocals become featured. But throughout the song, it was really interesting. I never thought about it that way, but because I could really hear it at the time, wow, those songs are really bass-driven songs. And that's why they were pop songs, but they had edge to them. They were still pop. The chords that were pop chords, but there was a serious edge to those songs. So it was something I was noticing yesterday. But if I write a song and I want it to be a bass-driven song, I start with the bass, right? If I want it to be, just power chords panned left and right, I start with that. Well, I usually will start. I'll get the tempo down, and then it's interesting too if you use drum loops. It's much quicker to find your drum loop first than it is to write a song and then find a way to fit what you've played to a drum loop. That can take hours and hours and hours. But if you find your loop first and then write to that too, that's another thing too. If the drums is the most important thing, I always think start with the most important thing, the thing that's featured, and exactly what you said. If you want an interesting bass line, you start with the bass line. I think that's a good way to think about it. If I start with chords, it suddenly restricts my bass line choices. Yeah. I mean, but you can work with that too. From a crazy bass line, I can then pick out notes and put chords over it. Yeah, and that works for you. And what works for different people is different things. And I played that little thing that was something I wrote. It was in, let's see, what was that? Let's see. That was probably 1993. I wrote that thing. I really haven't played it since then too much. But that was, to me, what I wanted was open, ringy strings. That was my feature part of the song, So that was the first part that was written on the song, and everything else supported that around it. So Evan says sometimes bassline breaks you out of that blocky chord to chord kind of writing. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that blocky chord to chord writing. If that serves the song, then that's the right thing, It definitely has been used a little bit though. He says Hall & Oates are really good though. Yeah. I'm a closet Hall & Oates fan. I am. Every time you hear them, you just go, what? We were used to this, You go into the department store, they'd be playing it all the time, and you're like, listen to that guy sing, man. And very, very talented band. I think so. Kevin loves them too. Coke says, yes, alternatively, if I start with chords, then the bass line becomes about the third or the fifth. And that might be the right thing for the song. I know that when I have an idea that I want to write a guitar, guitar song where I can play some guitar on it, right? If I had some crazy bass line going on, that wouldn't serve the purpose of the song. So, but that's if that's the style and those are the choices that make the most sense for you, that's the way to do it. There's no one way to write a song, Dean also likes Hall & Oates, loves Hall & Oates. Yeah, they're something else. Evan says the Violent Femmes are carried by phenomenal bass. Right. Yeah. Let's see. Kevin loves a lot of the Blue Eyed Soul stuff. Yeah, it's really neat. It's really, it's like what? If you listen to them, it's like, and especially like we had an actual CD in the car, and it was like a greatest hits over their whole career. And it starts with the older songs and then works through to the newer stuff, you know? And a lot of the Blue Eyed Soul stuff is earlier on. And then when they start doing more, making hits, big hits, but you start hear elements of, instead of having the whole song like that, they'll take elements from that and put it in there. It's very smart songwriting too. So they were one of the bands that you're surprised how many hits they had. Yeah. Do you ever watch his show, the Live at Daryl's House? I like it depending on who they have. And Billy Gibbons was on once. I thought that was that was awesome. And I'm a sucker for him though. Anything he's on, I'm there. Coke says you can write a melodic bass line, a walked bass line, or a straight and narrow root third. But this is where the scale theory breakthrough has been really apparent. Yeah. It all kind of comes together. For me, if I don't think about any of that stuff and I just kind of write what I feel, works up to a point. And then I kind of have to say, okay, well, what's not working? And then I take the feel thing, the thing that just kind of came out of my head, and then I make small little changes using scale theory to match to the other things. And then I get what I'm looking for, And let's see here. He says, because bass, they have a different place than guitars. It feels so different playing with the band in each row. Yeah, it's a very different instrument. It's a very different instrument. Looks the same, looks similar. Very different. Coming from a very different place, too. So let's see here. We have a few more minutes. Why should you care? That's what we went to. DNA of music. Once you realize that major scale, that's it. We say, well, what about all the minor songs? Well, the minor stuff comes from the major, right? It's a mode. And people talk about, they get kind of nervous about modes. Modes, they've got fancy names. I did get sleep last night. Look at me, I'm smiling today. They got fancy names. I don't want to do it. I don't want to play any of that fancy name stuff. I ain't into that. Dorian and Mixolydian. Who ever heard of anything like that? That sounds like history class in high school. Mixolydian. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Lydian. What's Lydian? I don't want to play no Lydian. Aeolian, Ionian. I don't know what those are. Well, that's minor and major, right? So once the big light bulb comes off for the caged people, when they learn their caged, their major scales on the caged, and then they switch to let's do the minor scales, and I'll bet this has happened a million times. They get the sheet. Oh, there's the scale pattern, and they're like, okay, we'll do A minor now. I mean, they probably get to about right here, and they go, this is the same thing as the. I've already learned this, right? Aha. Oh, okay. They share the same notes, and so that thinking of give me something and I'll learn it changes that second. So okay, give me an F chord. What's an F chord? I'll learn an F chord. Give me a C major scale. I'll learn that. Here's a C major scale. This is always the C major scale. This is always it's not always the C major scale. These things are these scale patterns we learn are multi-purpose. They're used in a million different ways. Just when you learn them as a C scale, that's when it starts. That's when you go bum, 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 bum. The races have started. I know the C major scale across the neck. Well, guess what? You just open yourself up for a world of cool stuff. That has nothing to do with do, re, mi, fa. Nothing to do with that major sound. It's all sorts of cool stuff. And then you learn the minor. Okay, and then you go, oh, okay, relative minor. Then that's the big buzzword for the while. Relative minor. It's a mode. It's a mode. And basically you're taking the same group of notes, And then instead of starting on this note, you're saying, well, let's start it on this note, and we'll play through till we get to that octave, And what does that sound like? Oh, that sounds different, And the Ionian and Aeolian, major and minor, there you go. Western music, that's pretty much everything. You turn on the radio for the past 60 years, and that's what you're hearing. But there's more. There's Lydian. Lydian is like the Joe Satriani sound, that... let's see here. Let's do it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. No, that's... let's see here. Let's see. There it is. There we go. That sound right there. So we're going to C. He's got tons of songs that use that sound in there. Steve Vai uses that too. It's a cool sound. It comes from jazz guys. Jazz guys, when they'll play, you have 2 5-1s, right? Minor 7, dominant 7, major, 2 5-1. And it gets a little boring playing just the do re mi sound over the major chord, right? So the Lydian, which has that sharp 4, it's a major sound with a sharp 4. Comes directly from the scale patterns. You can find it in the scale patterns. But the way you use it, and they'll use that over major to give it a much. In fact, you read in some jazz theory type things that they think that the regular 4, the F in a C scale, is wrong. That's how much they like that Lydian sound. Like, that's really how it's supposed to be, So, Facebook user says, seems like there's a disconnect from scales and chords unless you have a pretty good understanding of the fretboard. Yes, and potentially reading sheet music, right? Being able to find the notes on the guitar, relate them to sheet music theory, scales, and chords seems pretty difficult. My opinion. Being able to find the notes on the guitar, relate them to sheet music, to music theory, to scales and chords seems pretty different in my opinion. Right, but see, you flip that. Okay, so the traditional way, if you play trumpet, right, is they sit you down. You got your trumpet or trombone. I played trombone for like 6 months, right? They sit you down and they put the sheet music in front of you, and they go, when you play here, right, for trombone is all the way closed, right, that you play this there, and then as you move it this way, or I didn't play trumpet, so as you press down a certain key, here are your notes now, right? They start you off with that. With the guitar, I don't think that is a great way to go. I think flipping it and learning your notes and learning your shapes and intervals. This is a very visual instrument. And once you can learn your shapes and your intervals first, then at the same time, you're learning what all the different notes on the guitar are, because the guitar overlaps. It's very difficult. At some time, those come together. And we were talking about different ways of doing that. For the past week, we've been talking about that. And then once you have to me, that's having your guitar fretboard down. That's the time to bring the sheet music in. That's the time where you will go fast because you know your fretboard. So you know your scales, you know the shapes of the scales, you know how to manipulate chords, all of those things. What I do in the academy is whenever I have a tablature, I also have, most of the time, 99% of the time, I also have the standard notation on top, so that you start to see this and you start to rely on it a little bit. And I use rhythm as kind of like the mashed potatoes and the cauliflower, the cauliflower and the mashed potatoes, sneaking in there. I use, well, here's tab. But just take a look up top there. That'll give you the rhythm for that there. So you start to rely on it a little bit. And then once we get into the higher two level things, 2-level courses in the academy, we start doing more fretboard recognition where, it's associating shapes. And at that point, when you have that down, when you have your neck of your guitar down, to me, that's the best time, because you're right. It's a disconnect from reading music at first. You have too much of a hurdle with this grid that we're trying to play, this graph paper that we're trying to play. There's too much of a hurdle with piano, you hit that note and there it is on the page. Well, with guitar, you hit that note. First off, guitar's a transposed instrument. It's transposed by an octave. Okay, so there's a messed up thing. So if the piano's playing the same note you're playing, you're an octave off. First off. Second off, you play that note and you've got, depending on the note, 5-6 different ways of playing that same exact note all over the guitar. And that, right? That's the classic problem. If there was just one way to play each note, starting off with notation would be easy to do, but it's not. So it's just the way the guitar's set up. I think you need a roundabout way to get there. But once you get there, you already know your guitar, you know your fretboard, you know how it works. And then when you can relate that to sheet music, I think that you're in really good shape. Who is Lydian? She's the nice girl from down the street. She's Ned Flanders' daughter. She's the nice girl from down the street. Does she even play guitar? When you said in Discord earlier, when Evan said, I need to find some friends to play with, and we were talking about, I said, you recruit your family, and he said, well, that's not gonna work out. And I was thinking, yeah, you could. There's got to be somebody in town down the street who's got a lot of time on their hands, groom them for jamming. He says, we're going to start to call that the David sound. All right. Coke says, no, that was Ashley. She looked like Lydia. Oh, remember the mix-up? That one time there was a Mixolydian debacle. Yes, the great Mixolydian debacle of 2004. Evan says, it's not hard. It comes over time as you learn, right? And then Coke says, that one guy, we were dating her at the time. It was dark. She didn't know. She found out, left him in the It was Phrygian that night. Yeah, it was Phrygian. All right, cool. Okay, everybody. I'm going to wind things up here. Much better day today. Sleep is a wonderful thing. And I highly recommend sleep. I highly recommend it. But you all have a great rest of your day today. We'll have another one of these tomorrow on Thursday. We also have tomorrow, Thursday, Q&A in the Academy tomorrow. I'll be setting that up tonight. So you can just go to the same page that you're on last week and put your comments, put your questions in the comments if you would like, or just meet me over there. Evan said, good to hear it. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Oh, Q&A. Yeah, so we'll be meeting here first for the public one, and then we're all going to head on over to the Academy and get some questions answered tomorrow. Dive deep into some stuff. All right? Everyone take care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Thanks for hanging with me today. Bye-bye.